How to answer an exam standard question in 10 easy steps. Step 3. What we want to talk about now are verbs and nouns and marks. So here's the requirement again, a 7 marker, a 13 marker and a 20 marker. And what we're going to focus on here is predominantly part A, the written part. The way I look at it is this. We have a process for doing everything in the exam. And here I want to distinguish between what is the verb, what's the instruction, what do we have to do, what's the noun, what's the subject matter, what's it all about. And, critically, where are those marks coming from? Because remember what I said before, I only care about marks. So, the instruction here is assess. Now, what does assess mean? Well, if you look at instructions, there are a wide range of them that may be used by the examiner. Typical ones are things like explain, describe, discuss, compare. You have to be well aware of what each and every one of these mean. Now, I would say that you can go and look at something called Bloom's taxonomy, but we ain't got time to look at that here. So what does assess mean to you? Well, to me, it means sort of weigh up, yeah? Try and decide whether it's good or bad, yeah? An assessment, that sort of thing. So that's what we're going to have to try and do. And hold on a moment, if we are going to assess, weigh up, presumably we're going to have to do an analysis of the detail before we come up with our final assessment. Okay? Then we look at the subject. Well, just reading through, assess the performance of the production director, using all the information above, taking into account both the decision to use a new supplier and the decision to de-skill the process. So, the subject matter is the performance of the production director. If you remember, we said we were going to assess, weigh up the performance. We're going to say, has the production director done a good or bad job? And to do that, we're going to have to look at 3 things. Information above, okay, the stuff in the narrative we haven't looked at yet. But in particular, we want to talk about the new supplier and the de-skilling. Now, to me, these are 2 enormous hints that I'm going to hang almost the whole of my answer around. Of course we will use the other information, but to me, the new supplier and the de-skilling is what I'm really getting excited about. So here is my suggestion for the 7 marker. Here's my plan. And of course, when we read through the narrative, we may change this plan slightly. We want to focus on the performance of the production director, and I want to try and look for 3 to 4 marks talking about the new supplier. Now, please note, the new supplier, that suggests it's all about materials, doesn't it? Supply of materials. And de-skilling, that suggests it's all about labour, don't you think? 3 to 4 marks on each, and we will have done our job, won't we? Okay. So, in summary for step 3, remember instruction and subject. Plan your answers in relation to scoring marks and practice this with all exam questions. The more you practice, the better you will become.